Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Tuesday, and we're at May 20th, 2025. I don't know if you watched CNBC today. Fascinating, lengthy interviews with Elon Musk. All kinds of opinions on, did he make a success with Doge? What did he do to hurt the Tesla brand by being in it? Does he care? Where he thinks the next big money is, I can tell you it's robots. That's what he's thinking. He's really big on robots. And what he said that fascinated me was the way that they're training their robots now. They want them to be able to watch videos. How many times have we watched, remember that? Television, and we'd see in sci-fi movies, they'd strap a guy down and he has to watch the TV 24 hours a day. The eyes are popped open. Well, with the robots, they think that's one of the ways. Of course, they can speed up the videos and so on. But that's how they envision robots are going to learn parts of what's important. Can you imagine they're watching medical procedures and all that? And their grace will be unbelievable. He then also talked, of course, about why he was asked, why don't you just go out and buy Uber? And he gave his reasons, talking about how they think the cars will be turned into a pool. So you have a private Tesla, you want to let people rent it out. I would not, but some people might. And away they go. They can put it in a carpool and they get paid on it when they're not using the car. Okay, see how people feel about that. It's one thing when you have, a driver's taking you around in an Uber and he's taking care of his car generally. It's very different when you're giving your car into a pool, and do you think those people really care? The first thing they're going to do is floor it. All right. When I take a look at how the metals work today, another bid, and that's because the dollar got hit today again. So you're looking at that. Energies were strong today. They came back up. You see uranium still holding at the $28 mark. I mention that because Ayatollah Khomeini has said that he wants no part of dealing with the United States. They're not going to give up uranium enrichment. Now, this is the head guy. So what's Trump going to do? I think Putin blew off Trump yesterday. Is the Ayatollah going to be able to do that too? That's my opinion as to how the talks went with Russia. Why do I say that? Because I think the president, when he walked out, the frustration, he said he's ready to wash his hands of all this. That's where I picked that up. Man that's really involved wouldn't be saying that. So I don't know. When he talks to the Khomeini, he goes, you don't want to see what we're going to unleash on you. You don't hear that the other side. It could be that he's looking at the whole thing from different points of view. I'm not in his head, so I don't know. The stock market, are we going to get a point here where the market needs to consolidate these gains or correct from them? I still watch the different analysts, how many are saying this is a false rally and that the market's going to come roaring to the downside, and the others that are saying, no, this is nothing. You're going to consolidate this and go for the new highs. And the arguments on both sides, they're compelling. They're put together by some pretty informed people, and that's why you want to hear all the different sides. I'm not a fundamentalist. I am a chart technician. I believe the chart contains all the information you need, and my theory is you don't go into major reports because that can change the fundamentals, which in turn will change the chart. But barring some event happening, they set in for a certain period of time. BND, still I see interest rate pressures. They haven't gone away. Amazon down a little bit today, as well as Apple. Home Depot, interesting story when they came out and they said that 50% of their product is made in America. They don't want any country outside of America to have more than 10% of all the product that they import. So it could be from different companies, but it can't amount to more than 10% from that country, so they don't have to deal with that. And they also said that they don't see themselves having to raise prices. At first, the market was up pretty good on the news. The more traders thought about it, apparently, they didn't like it because you still have the dilemma of high interest rates, uncertain policies, the home market is not the strongest that it could be, and how many people are a little uncertain they don't want to do big projects. I think that's all weighing in on it. When we look at Tesla, it did make a new high for the move, but it closed literally at the lows of the day. The market now is a pattern of a higher high and a lower low. I can call this an attempt at consolidation after a market that's gone bananas from roughly the 220 level all the way up to the 355 level. Wow. It's difficult to buy that and think you're just going to keep going unless you have a 2, 3 year, 4 year plan in mind. That to me is the difficult part. When and if the market breaks, big support in these moving averages down here. They don't have to go back there. But what I do think you have to pay attention to is that upper Bollinger Band, and it's trying to rein in prices. I think that's the best thing you could say. If and when you see the red line here that's at 89, close under 79, you'll be into something of a correction. First goal then would be 319 and down here. But if that stays embedded as it is, follow through off of action like today probably gets bought in the morning. I am still very favorable long-term Tesla, and I do think this is a stock, as I've told people that are my paid subscribers, we want to own some and you put it away. Don't trade some of it. Just own it and put it away. In Eli Lilly, today was a failure day. The market had some good action going, and then you have this outside day down. Now, to trap the bears, you've got to take out today's high. If you've taken my course, outside day course, and the importance of it, you learn what that works and the time frame that it involves. I'll let you go to my website, iraepstein.com, under courses. It's one completely devoted to this type of day and developed because of it. In Broadcom, still bullish, still embedded reading. How many of the markets that we're looking at have this embedded reading? The vast majority, because all you've done since April 7th has gone up in them. So the logic is that you're locked in. When you start losing them, they'll start correcting probably as a group also and try to break to the downside. Now, not every market made it there. Google has gone up and it's overbought. You can see the lower highs, lower lows. Now, Google's added some new AI features. It's in that race. I went on today and tried those features, both talking to the market, typing in phrases, as it says. It's a neat feature. And given the vast knowledge that Google has from all the searches, they could be right at the top of that pile. So people that are thinking, you're not going to use Google, nonsense. You'll use it in a different way. And you can see what this market is doing, trying to correct. I wouldn't be surprised if you've got to come back into the 160, 161 level to try to see where support is. Netflix, people are still buying it. It's embedded. You're up at the upper band. There's a point at which I'll just say, it's too expensive, too rich for me. And we'll see. You have to do that on a chart. You have to say, did something get away from you? And if it did, you're trying to jump in. How late are you in the move? Let me share this with you. You're late on all these moves. The market bottomed on April 7th. You didn't know it. Most people didn't know it. I did see a few analysts that came out within days of it. I swear to you, within 3-4 days, and pinpointed it. And they said that was an exhaustion drop. And that was it. And you're not going to visit that number again. And those have been the guys that have been right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Remember that. So as you look at what this is going, Robinhood, still on a tear. It's got so much going for it with crypto and regular retail traders, young people throwing money in. But when the correction comes, those type of traders typically get hurt a bit. And that's because they're newer to the market. It's easy when you learn what a bull market is. It's very difficult when you get into corrections in them and you don't have the experience. As I told you, I am just not friendly on the crude oil companies. Exxon is one of those. I can make an argument for the lower numbers here. Everything on this chart right now is bearish. You'd have to get back over here, the 108.89 level, to negate the downtrend. It can happen, but that's what I think it would have to do. And I'm now seeing a little bit of tiring in stocks. You can see all of a sudden you're over a week where you're just sort of spinning right here. You're not breaking. You're keeping the embedded reading. But again, this is a market that's gone from 150 and now you're up here into the 211 area. That's a 30% rally almost. That's pretty big. In XLF, same thing. I like the financial services, but I'm nervous on so many of them. I want a break to happen, so you take some of the pressure, this elongated run out of the market. But you got to nibble on the ones that you think are the best because you never know if it's going to break. I mean, that's just the reality. Eventually, these give way. From where, what level, I certainly don't know yet. I know after the fact it's happening. Same thing in XLI. Think of all these great companies and the earnings. I mean, they've been stellar. Everyone that said all these companies are going to have problems, I don't know. I saw Home Depot, they issued forward guidance, so not every company's quite like that. On the energy sector, I have been expecting you're going to pull back to the 18-day average. It's not with an embedded reading. So the ones that aren't embedded are a bit easier to figure out than those that have it, even gold. So you came back up. You've negated the whole downtrend. I said that yesterday. Now the market's gone to roost at the 18-day average to figure out what next. SLV has a lower low, higher high. You can see what it's doing. It couldn't make it to the lower band or the 100-day average. If it continues to rally, which I expect, I would think you'll get to the upper Bollinger Band and run into a bit of an issue there. Copper, this is so different than the futures market. I don't know why the two aren't together, but this is copper miners, not the raw copper. Remember that. And the miners, well, everybody's going to want copper for a long time to come, especially if we can get out of this malaise and not get a world recession, which I don't see at this point, but don't get one, and eventually have lower interest rates helping the economies go into that growth cycle again. That's what people are counting on. When we look at BND, I'm still bearish. This, TLT, they have shown no signs that they're ready for a bull move. They're oversold. Oversold is not where I teach that you deploy new money on the short side, but there's certainly no reason to be long in the market. Last but not least, we were looking here for the dollar. If you'll recall, I've said I thought it was going to go back here to the 18-day average to regroup, and I think FXE would go to the 18-day average to the upside to regroup, and that's where I think we're at right now. I invited you to take a look at the free offers that we have. There's just so many in our trading kit, the daily price counts that we put out. But that is a must. If I were telling you and you were sitting here and we had dinner together and you said, Ira, what's the one thing you want to see from Linn and some of their research? I'd go price counts. Very important, cool work. Gives you an idea when a market's going up or down, where might it go? It is not buy here, sell there. It's a measurement tool of where the market might go. Very few people have that type of tool. You know, there's Fibonacci, Gann, I can go on and on. I think this is better than all of them. More research center for the seasonals, the Season X is there. So take a look. All you do is you choose what you want, and then you put in your name, your information. We get that, and then we send it right on to you. Go to iraepstein.com, free offers. You can come up here. There'll be an icon. If you're watching me on YouTube, the circle, or go the old-fashioned way. Ring up the phone and give us a call. I'm Ira. You have yourself a good day, and I'll catch up with you in the morning.